Lucy was young when her mother took her away to live in the city with her uncle, Mr. Peter. That night, before traveling to the city to meet Uncle Peter, Lucy's mother told her to be obedient to her uncle. "Make sure you listen to your uncle," her mother said. "He is a good man, and always be respectful towards your elders like I have taught you. And do whatever your uncle tells you to do, because he's wise," Lucy's mother said. Then she began to arrange Lucy's luggage for the long journey to Uncle Peter's house. Very early the next morning, Uncle Peter drove into the compound. Lucy was already prepared and waiting for her uncle to come take her to the city. Lucy happily took her bags in the car and sat down in the car happily while the car engine started. Lucy's mother was a little sad. The city was far from the town, which was going to make it impossible to see her daughter anytime soon. "Please take care, my daughter, and don't forget everything that I have taught you," Lucy's mother said, while waving at Lucy. Uncle Peter drove faster to the city. The journey to the city was long and fun. Lucy enjoyed watching all the tall buildings and the beauty of the city. She was amazed by all the sights and sounds of the city. Uncle Peter noticed her amazement and smiled. "You will get used to the city life soon," he said. They finally arrived at Uncle Peter's house in the city. Lucy was so shocked to see the big mansion her uncle was living in. When they got inside, Lucy was given some food to eat. She sat in the dining table enjoying her jollof rice and juice. Mr. Peter was a successful businessman. He has a wife and 2 children who lived with him in the city. But Uncle Peter's wife was a traveler. She always travels from one city to another, sometimes visiting twice in a month. As Lucy settles in her new life, she began to notice her uncle's behavior towards her was changing. He would often find excuses to touch her and make her feel uncomfortable. At first, Lucy thought that maybe her uncle was being overly affectionate. But as the incident continued, Lucy realized that something was wrong. She felt trapped and scared and didn't know who to turn to. One day, as Lucy was playing with her uncle's children, she heard her uncle scream her name. So she went to answer him. Peter was inside his room. It was Saturday, so he stayed at home, as he doesn't work on Saturdays. He was inside his room watching a video on a television. The video was an adult video, which was improper for a young girl like Lucy. Lucy got into the room and saw her uncle watching the television. Uncle Peter stared at her for some seconds. He noticed that she was wearing a very attractive dress. He told her to go get a glass of water for him. Lucy rushed to go get the glass of water. When she left the room, Peter began to have bad thoughts about his niece. He got influenced by the movie he was watching. So he wanted to do exactly what he saw in the movie with his niece, seeing that his wife was never around because of her kind of business. So he felt lonely. Lucy returned to her uncle's room with a glass of water. Peter collected the glass of water and kept it on a small table beside his bed. Then he stood up and locked the door. As a young girl, Lucy was confused as to why her uncle was locking the room. He looked at her face anxiously and asked Lucy, "I need something from you." Lucy asked him what he wanted. "I want you to give me what my wife hardly does." Lucy was confused as she didn't know what her uncle was talking about. She thought about it but couldn't figure it out. Uncle Peter proceeded by placing his hands on Lucy's shoulder. He rubbed her softly at her shoulder. He tried to bring his hand down to where he was not supposed to touch, but Lucy quickly removed his hands from her body. "Uncle, my mother told me not to allow anyone to touch me there," Lucy said, looking at her uncle. She was scared but didn't know what to do. Her uncle was already into her. He wanted to take advantage of the opportunity. "Lucy, remember your mother told you to do everything I say. That's because she knew that I can't touch you. Just let me touch it now," Uncle Peter said with a soft voice. Lucy thought for a while and remembered that her mother warned her not to disrespect her uncle. Then she allowed her uncle to touch her exactly where he wanted to. As a young girl, she didn't quite understand what her uncle was doing. She has not experienced that before. At that point, Uncle Peter proceeded even further. When she couldn't take it anymore, she told her uncle to stop, but her uncle didn't listen. But he proceeded even more further. She tried removing herself from the situation, but she couldn't. She cried and cried, but no one could come to her aid. Meanwhile, Peter's children were in the living room playing. They were waiting for Lucy to come back, but what they didn't know was that Lucy was going through a terrible ordeal. They heard her scream as if she was in trouble. One of Mr. Peter's children decided to go check what was happening. As he walked towards Lucy's voice, he realized that the cry was coming from her father's bedroom. The little boy was wondering about what was happening in the room. He tried to open the door, but it was locked. Mr. Peter quickly noticed that someone was standing at the door. He heard his son's voice and opened the door, pretending like nothing happened. His son John walked in anxiously and asked his father what was wrong with Lucy. "I heard her crying. What is wrong with her?" John asked. "Don't worry, son. Lucy fell while getting me a glass of water, so I was attending to her, but she'll be fine," Peter replied to his son. Lucy knew that her uncle was lying. She couldn't speak out because her uncle told her to be silent. She was sad and angry. It was a day she will never forget in her life. That night, Lucy sat on her bed crying. Her uncle noticed that she was still sad and went up to her. "Stop crying, Lucy. You're almost a woman now. You will get used to it," Uncle Peter said. Lucy was confused and didn't know what to do. She said to her uncle, "Uncle, please, don't do that to me again. It hurts." Peter smiled and said, "Lucy, it's just a play between me and you. Don't worry, next time we will play a different kind of game." Peter convinced her. He brought out snacks and gave it to her as a gift. Lucy accepted the gifts, which made her smile a bit. He informed her that her mother would be visiting the next day and warned her not to tell her mother anything, or she won't be getting snacks and gifts from him anymore. "No, I want you to get me more snacks and gifts. I won't tell my mom," Lucy said. Lucy was confused and didn't know what to do, and she didn't want to disobey her uncle. As the night went on, Lucy couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what her uncle did to her. She didn't know who to confide in, but she needed to do something. The next day, Lucy's mother arrived in the city. Lucy was excited seeing her mother, but she was also nervous about what had happened with her uncle. As they sat down to eat, her mother asked her how she was faring. Lucy wanted to tell her mother everything, but she was scared. "I'm fine, Mommy," Lucy said, trying to hide her pain. Her mother looked at her closely, sensing that something was wrong. "Are you okay?" her mother asked again. Lucy looked at her, unsure of what to say. Just then, Peter walked in smiling, pretending to be a good man. Lucy's mother thanked him for taking care of her daughter. Peter smiled, telling her not to worry as he will continue to take good care of her and arrange a new school for her. Lucy's mother was happy that Peter will enroll her daughter in a good school, as she can't afford to send her daughter to school. That's one of the reasons she had brought her to stay with her brother. Lucy's mother stayed with them for 2 weeks. Peter couldn't carry out his heinous plans with Lucy because her mother was around. He couldn't take the risk. When it was time for Lucy's mother to go back, Peter gave her lots of food items and some money. She thanked him and waved her daughter goodbye. Mr. Lucy was now ready to continue with his evil deeds. As Lucy was cleaning the house, she heard her uncle call out her name. She became scared again. She knew her uncle wanted to make her uncomfortable again. As she stood in the living room, she couldn't run nor say no. She had no other choice. She then walked to her uncle's room. As she opened the door, her heart raced as she stood at the entrance of the room. "Lucy, I have plenty of snacks for you. Come, let's play our usual game, and I'll give you lots of them." "But uncle, the game is very painful and it makes me uncomfortable." But Uncle Peter continued to convince her, telling her that it was just a game. And again, Lucy fell for his tricks. But this time, he heard a knock on the door. But it wasn't his kids. It was from his wife. "Honey, it's me. Open the door. I'm back," his wife shouted while trying to open the door. But it was locked. She wondered why her husband would lock the door. As soon as Lucy heard the voice, her face lit up with joy. She felt a surge of hope, knowing that someone had arrived to rescue her from her troubled situation. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the story.